Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and I'm very pleased to introduce you guys to a very niche or indie house called Anna Zworykina Perfumes. She's also the genius mastermind behind her wild, fantastic, complex, all-natural, antique, and vintage fragrances. Anna Zworykina work is for fragrance connoisseurs that have smelled it all and are looking for all-natural artisan fragrances to expand their horizon of their olfactory senses to experience the true art of vintage perfumery. This house is where her perfumes truly take you back not only in time, but also in history as well. So I've tried a few of her fragrances and it definitely has this vintage vibe about them, very antique smelling. If you like complex, challenging scents, which feel like labyrinth and easy to get lost in, then you definitely need to try her creations to get a feel of ultimate complexity of natural materials. I can rest assure you that her creations will take you down the rabbit hole. Alright, so as you can tell by the title of my video, today we're going to review her Cuir de Russie, which is supposed to be her bestseller. Cuir de Russie is a 100% natural, organic, handcrafted, classic, vintage Chypre smoky animalic and true to the early 20th century recipe of leather. This creation is for fragrance connoisseurs that are truly into traditional vintage Russian leather. Cuir de Russie is not just a perfume, but a smell experience. This creation definitely takes you on a journey or takes you back in history. It definitely gives you the feel and aura of a timeline that had to be experienced in order to understand this perfume better. And funny to say, this creation definitely helps you to go through this time travel and relive that timeline again when everything was so bold, extravagant, unapologetic, and opulent. Alright, so as a side note, she creates all her fragrances from essential oils, absolutes, CO2 extracts, and tinctures only. As I mentioned, her fragrances belong to all natural branch of perfumery, just like Mandy Aftel's. All her ingredients are real, no synthetic molecules are used whatsoever. She prefers the rich character of natural essences. Alright, so as far as bottle and sizes of them goes, they usually come in a 15 ml and lower dosage, which for all natural perfumes, such small bottles are a common thing. I mean, that's what she pretty much told me. But I believe she takes special orders for 50 ml bottles as well. Alright, so let's spray some of this and see what we get. Now, since it's a small bottle, I'm just gonna spray it on my hand and see what we get. One more. God, this is so good, you guys. It's right up my alley. Oh, this is a beauty. It's so antique smelling, it's so vintage, and I love it. And it's so unusual for a Russian leather. Very well done. Oh, I love this. God, I was waiting to review this for you guys so bad because it's such a beautiful fragrance, and it definitely deserves recognition. God. It's a beauty and it's very interesting. So the interesting thing is that it actually opens up with this bright, zesty, but yet very mossy and green, damp, earthy accord, which also can be translated to this almost fluorescent or kind of metallic fluorescent green absinthe note, almost like a bright green alcoholic opening boosted by citrus. God, that absinthe note makes this so interesting. I almost get like this metallic pigment in there. Very interesting. So the opening kind of reminds me of walking through a dark, damp green forest with a floor of mosses. As it opens up more, you get this animalic, savory, meaty barbecue-like accord, which it immediately transforms into this warm, dark, smoky, animalic leather. This is leather in the raw. It is very tarry, smoky, but yet very animalic, fur-like kind of a leather. So again, as I mentioned earlier, I don't want you to think of this as a leather of a car seat or a leather jacket. Now, really quick, back to the opening of that beautiful absinthe accord. The absinthe smell came from a combination of galbanum, yuzu, lemon, and wormwood essential oils. Now, wormwood essential oils is the keyword here. As when I was talking to her, she very much underlined that regarding the absent accord. Wormwood has a strong, bittersweet scent, very distinctive. A lot of time people associate wormwood with a savory herb, the sort of herb you smell in your kitchen, but this is more of a potion-like wormwood type of a smell. So this is a Chypre with bright galbanum and bergamot start, which that bergamot gives it that hint of metallic accord or pigment to this scent, which I talked about earlier. But as we get to the heart of this fragrance, it gets unapologetically dark, woody, animalic fur-like leather. Again, you see how I underlined that animalic fur-like leather, not leather seat of a car. It gets smoky, it gets aromatic, and then you get hints of florals. Yes, the florals, they kind of come in, but nothing dramatic, which means they never take over. But what they do, they kind of play this faint orchestra in the background to give Cuir de Russie a little bit of space to breathe and kind of give the Cuir de Russie that vintage, that kind of like an antique type of a vibe of a fragrance to it, which you kind of get with Bas de Versailles when it gets to the floral part of it. So the floral part is done very, very well, and that's where Anna kind of starts flexing her muscles and showcase her work of art, how she can do that with the floral part instead of being like, oh, this straight up smells like rose or jasmine or ylang ylang. You don't get that. You cannot cherry pick the florals. You kind of get an orchestra, a faint orchestra of florals in here, which gives Cuir de Russie the feel of kind of a vintage or antique type of an aura to the scent. Now, as we get to the base of Cuir de Russie, it becomes smokier, which must be the birch coming forward. It becomes more animalic, which must be from real castoreum tincture, and it also becomes kind of sweet as well, which must be from sweet labdanum absolute. I must also say that castoreum tincture also adds some sweetness to the fragrance as well. By the way, the castoreum and the labdanum complement each other so beautifully to create that gorgeous fur-like animalic leather cord. Now, the castoreum also has a smoky side to it as well. And the castoreum complements the birch really nicely as well on the Drydown. So in the opening, it does create that meaty, savory, barbecue type of a smell, but as it dries down, it becomes unapologetically woody, dark, and also fur-like type of a leather smell, which makes it very interesting. In the Drydown, some might say that the leather reminds them of horses or harness or saddle of horses, or some might say it reminds them of autumn hunting. But I can rest assure you, whatever you come up with or whatever this fragrance reminds you on, it is a very addictive type of a scent, and it will make you keep wanting to go back for more and more. So it has that kind of a vibe to it, which I just cannot stop smelling this. And it also, as I mentioned earlier, and I keep repeating myself, it takes me back in time. It's like a time machine. It definitely has that vintage and antique aura about it. All right, so this is as much as detail I wanted to get into for Cuir de Russie by Anna Zworykina Perfumes. Now, I'm sure you guys wanted to know how this fragrance, being all natural, it performs like. It actually performs fantastic, the longevity of it for being a natural fragrance, but we all know because of the notes. I mean, we have castoreum in here, castoreum tincture, we've got labdanum, we've got birch. So all these type of notes, they definitely make the fragrance last. But again, it's not going to be as long lasting as some of the fragrance out there on the market that they use molecules and stuff, synthetic molecules, to make the fragrance actually last longer. This is not a fragrance that it's created for outperforming other fragrances. This is a fragrance created for a smell experience to pretty much, as I mentioned, take you back in time, and it definitely does that. Now, on my skin, if you would like to know, I've tried it many times because I love this fragrance so much. And I believe on my skin it lasts between 7 to 8 hours. So for being all natural ingredients or all natural essences, it lasts pretty good. Now, as far as the projection and sillage goes, it has a fantastic projection. On the initial spray, I get about 5 to 6 feet of projection. It has a very, very strong projection, and it goes that way actually for about an hour to hour and a half. And I think it's the mossy and the absent stuff that kind of makes the fragrance project a lot because it's very aromatic type of a scent. And it does have a beautiful sillage. It's very beautiful. So it does have a great projection and sillage. All right, so as far as the compliments goes, this one, I haven't tried it outside, first of all, to see if I get compliments or not. And for me, I love this fragrance. And this fragrance, again, I'm going to repeat myself, it's not made for, you know, compliments or, I mean, it is a beautiful fragrance. It is a beautiful scent. It's gorgeous, but it is created for an experience. It is a smell experience. It's something that will take you back in time. So it's not something for you that you want to show off, which it will definitely make you stand out when you wear this. It's one of those fragrances that definitely turns heads. But it is not something that's mass pleasing where everybody would be running after you. But again, I believe in that a lot, that if you wear the right outfit and if you have the right personality and if you wear it in the right occasion, you will definitely get a lot of compliments with this. All right, so as far as the versatility goes, I believe this can be a versatile fragrance because it's very aromatic. That absent accord and that mossy notes to the fragrance definitely help the fragrance to become very versatile. I think you can definitely pull this off on a cool spring evening, and you can also definitely pull this off in winter and fall as well. It would be phenomenal. But summertime, I think, would be a little bit too cloying because it's very animalic and it does have that very smoky and opulent vibe to it. Now, as far as where to wear this, the occasion, I would say would do phenomenal for these sets of Pirates of the Caribbean. By the way, that's a joke because nobody's going to be on that set, but I think that you could definitely wear this to a club. You can definitely wear this to a night out, to a bar or something. If you have the right outfit again, it would definitely work. But I wouldn't suggest this for like a work, place or anything like that. So it is a medium versatile type of a scent. Now, as far as the uniqueness goes, this thing right here is very unique, specifically because of that absent accord. That absent accord and the moss notes, it just makes this fragrance so unique for a Russian leather fragrance. I haven't smelled anything like this. I mean, there are fragrances, there's a lot of Russian leather fragrances out there, but I think that absent accord definitely kind of took this on a different route. And the fact that it's a Chypre type of a scent and has that antique vintage vibe to it, it makes it very unique. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we get to my video. That's all I have for Cuir de Russie by Anna Zworykina Perfumes. I know a lot of you guys don't own this fragrance. I would definitely suggest you to go and check out her Instagram page. On her page, she has a link to her website and her Etsy store, which you guys can check out all her perfumes and her creations. That's it, you guys. That's all I have. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.